Hey, I'm Pastor Andrew, and this is Theology Thursday. Thank you for joining me. Last time together, we looked at the Apostles' Creed. Today, we're going to talk about the Nicene Creed. Now, the Nicene Creed is interesting because it's a bit more theological in its wording than the Apostles' Creed, but is indeed a reflection of its own time. We find in the Nicene Creed an echo of what was happening in the early 300s within the Christian church. You see, remember, the functions of a creed are threefold. First, it's to teach the scriptures. Second, is to give a summary of those scriptures in an easy-to-remember format. And then third, because it is a reflection of the truth of the scripture, we have if you will, a litmus test, something by which we can examine teachings. And so creeds function as a way to refute false, unscriptural teachings that arise in the church way too often. Now, the Nicene Creed came into existence primarily because of that third function, a way to refute false teachings. It's not as old as the Apostles' Creed, and was written in 325 AD at the First Council of Nicaea. Now, this council began in June of 325 AD, and around 250 church leaders, bishops, gathered together from all over the empire, and they met for what amounted to be over a month. You see, the reason for this meeting, there was a problem within the early Christian church, and it was a very big one. A very popular charismatic preacher named Arius was preaching and proclaiming some rather unscriptural things. Chiefly, he was preaching that the second person of the Trinity, Jesus, the one who took on our flesh and was born of the Virgin Mary, was created by the Father. Now, this is a problem because that would mean that there was a time where Jesus was not. Of course, this is not scriptural at all. Jesus, the second person of the Trinity, always existed from eternity to eternity. He is God of very God. And so by Arius preaching these things about Christ, he was denying the clear scriptural reference to who Jesus is, and also denying the doctrine of the Trinity. As such, the Nicene Creed was the church's collective response to this false teaching. And it was adopted to clearly confess what the Bible teaches about the second person of the Trinity, Jesus. Jesus is truly God and always has been God. God is indivisible. There has always been one God within three persons. This teaching, this doctrine of the Trinity, is expounded more by the Athanasian Creed, of which we will cover next week. But for us today, it's important to remember that the Nicene Creed is a foundational creedal statement of Christianity. It expands upon the teaching of the second person of the Trinity, Jesus Christ, and is helpful for us even today to have a nice summary not only of the person and the work of Christ, but a clear scriptural teaching about Jesus' eternal being, one with the Father, one with the Spirit, one God, three persons who always existed from before time began to after the end of all things. Jesus is everlasting in his divinity. That is the main emphasis of the Nicene Creed. I invite you to click on the links in this video below to look at the Nicene Creed and some other supporting documents that may help your study. God's peace to you as we depart now, but we'll come back together very soon next Thursday as we look at the Athanasian Creed. Take care.